I thank the chairman. You know, it's really hard to believe that a package of bills that comes to the floor, which individually passed the House 422 to nothing, another bill passes by voice vote, another bill passes 415 to 3, have become so controversial. Why? Because they're about to become law, and they should become law. These are smart, technical reforms to an overly burdensome law, Dodd-Frank, that are bipartisan. All of these bills have Democrat and Republican co-sponsors. All of them have gained Democrat and Republican support in the committee and on the floor of the House. And these bills should pass. And I want to thank Chairman Hensarling for his longstanding leadership in reining in out-of-control Washington regulators that are hurting small business and Main Street lenders. Mr. Speaker, smart regulations allow the private sector to innovate and to create jobs while protecting taxpayers and consumers. However, one-size-fits-all regulations hurt the economy by treating small and medium-sized companies as if they are large multinational corporations. No Main Street small businesses, manufacturers, farmers, or ranchers caused the financial crisis, yet they are subject to thousands of new pages of regulations that were supposedly designed for big Wall Street firms. Mr. Speaker, that is not fair. That's why I've introduced this bill. It's a bipartisan package of common-sense jobs bills that provide regulatory relief to help grow the economy from Main Street up, not from Washington down. This bill is made up of individual measures that previously passed either the House or the Financial Services Committee with overwhelming bipartisan support during the 113th Congress. It is a recognition of the fact that regulations, no matter how well-intentioned, can be made more targeted and can be made more effective. More than 400 new regulations imposed on our nation's small and medium-sized companies impedes their ability to access the capital needed to grow, innovate, and create jobs. These regulations may have been targeting Wall Street, but their burden falls heavily on Main Street. And that's what this bill seeks to fix. These legislative prescriptions represent serious bipartisan commitments to make our regulatory system more responsive to the needs of the workers and the local businesses that we all represent. The American people want Republicans and Democrats to work together to strengthen our economy and help the private sector create jobs like only it can. Good-paying jobs and greater opportunities are the foundations of real economic growth, growth that's strong and growth that's sustainable, growth that lifts people up from poverty. That kind of growth can't come from Washington, and it won't happen unless small business owners, entrepreneurs, and workers have the freedom and the opportunity to use their God-given talents and creativity to earn their success. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot of talk in this town about bipartisanship and finding the middle ground here in our nation's capital. Yet at this very moment, groups on both the far left and the far right stand in the way of even incremental progress by pulling members of both parties to the extremes. I know that if things are going to get done in this body, it will be with strong bipartisan support from principled yet pragmatic lawmakers willing to put politics to the side and work together for the common good. As someone who seeks out that course, I'd like to recognize those members willing to look past the demagoguery and misinformation in order to support this bill. I have high hopes that this Congress can restore the faith of our constituents in the legislative process and the role of Congress in strengthening our Main Street economy. And we can start with this bill. So I urge my colleagues to join me in voting yes on the bill, and in doing so, putting aside political posturing in favor of bipartisan reforms to get people back to work. I yield back.